What do you call yourself?
I am Orangeman.
And Orangeman, where were you living before you were on the Pacific Crest Trail?
Okay, so I was living in New Zealand, right at the bottom of the South Island, as far south as you can go, in a town called Invercargill. It is an awesome place.
And what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about saving the world. Yeah.
Do you have any ideas for how to save the world?
Shit. I reckon if you just be a kind person to other people, in a way it just makes positivity, builds positivity in the other person, and then it changes the world, I guess. I think it can change the world. I think that's the first step we need to take, is just make sure we're kind to one another.
Right on. And what do you think about the Pacific Crest Trail?
I think it's bloody amazing. This trail has just been fucking epic. It's amazing. I mean, yeah, there's no other place I'd rather be right now. Yeah, that's what I think of the trail.
And could you share a story from some element of your Pacific Crest Trail hike?
So, Mount Whitney. It was about 12 a.m. Me, my friend Patrick, and our other friend Lone Wanderer, we started to make our way up to Mount Whitney in the dark. And yeah, so far it's been my best memory on the trail, actually. It was only me and Patrick that made it to the summit, and when we were actually going down Mount Whitney, I stopped to take a photo at a junction, and there's a junction where the public can come up. There's another way to come up Mount Whitney, and then the other side of the junction is where the PCTs go. And I stopped to take a photo, and there's this French girl who comes and waves me down, and she says someone needs help. And I didn't really know what was going on. There's a guy with us, Snake Charmer, who decided to head down the PCT way back to a ranger station to inform the rangers that someone needs help. And I decided I had to ask, can I have a look and see what's going on? And she said, okay. So I came with this French girl, her name is Emily, and I see this woman, an old woman, sitting in between two rocks. She was wearing an emergency blanket, and I was like, okay, so there's a woman that's got hypothermia. And then I sort of wanted to see her face. I was like, how bad is this? And she pulls back the tinfoil from her face, and I just remember her lips were blue, and the colour of her eyes were yellow. She looked like someone who was about to die, kind of. It was crazy. And it turns out that this woman had spent the night on Mount Whitney in nothing but her clothes that she was wearing. And it was above 4,000 metres elevation. I don't know what that is in feet, but
14,000.
It's bloody high. And so the night before we summited Mount Whitney, we left at 12 a.m. and about 6 p.m. that night before, it was a massive thunderstorm, and I hadn't really heard anything so aggressive before. Wow, I mean, and it pissed down with rain afterwards, but still we ended up deciding to do Mount Whitney. But this woman had got caught out that night in the storm, and she was soaking wet, and she got so cold that she couldn't actually move anymore. So she sat down in between these two rocks, and that's where we found her. And then so obviously we did the right steps to get her, hopefully we're going to bring her back from whatever state she was in. And yeah, we sat around, we lay her down, we covered her in 2 sleeping bags and shit, and 2 space blankets. And I knew the best way still was our body warmth to get her back. So we all cuddled around her for about 2.5, 3 hours, and it was just it was so cold for us. Like, we're just sitting here, and this is so high up, and there's no sunlight at the moment. The sun is on the other side of the mountain, so it just makes it so much colder. And then eventually a bit of sun came out, about 20 meters or 15 meters from where she was. So we decided to actually lift her up, which was crazy. And the trail that we had to like lift her body on was so sketchy. There's just a massive drop on the other side. But yeah, we just held on to her, and we got her to the sunspot. And then she really started like answering our questions. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of colour coming back to her face.
Right.
And yeah, about 4 hours in, like, hey, damn, like, she is really good now. She is full talking. She was like set up. She was laying down, but she sat up. And then these rangers come along actually that had been informed, and they were actually on the mountain. They had planned to come up anyway, so they were looking for a missing body that had just been missing the last few days. So yeah, they were already on their way up when they were informed. But yeah, about 4 hours after we found her, these rangers showed up, and they didn't really know what condition she had been in, and they decided to make her try and walk out. So they ended up not getting helicopter rescue. They tried to walk out, but they could only get so far. I heard out the next day that they only got so far, that they just got to a place where she got helicoptered out. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's a crazy story.
And how did you end up on the Pacific Crest Trail? Like, why, or what brought you here?
What brought me here was
To save that woman?
the love for thru hiking, the love of the lifestyle. It doesn't get any better than this, I think. This is...
Have you done thru hiking before?
I have, yeah.
Okay,
I did
cool.
a trail called Te Araroa back home in New Zealand, and that spans the whole length. I only did it in like 2 different parts, so I like section hiked it pretty much over a couple of years. And I picked up the bug, and then, you know, you just go back to work and you think, fuck, I need to get out. I need to go do another thru hike.
Right on. What's
Yeah.
the food you dream about the most out here?
Ooh, okay, so there's some things. Oh, there's a dish I'm thinking about making when I get home, which is going to be broccoli, steak, mushrooms, and garlic. I feel like that's going to be banging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you.